Hang on a moment.
Alright geezers, your favourite person in the whole wide web, back with another terrific waste of everyone's time and electricity. In today's Breaking Truves, 43 years old, no kids, crypto millionaire, smoking hot girlfriend. Name anyone having a better Christmas than me. And this shit-eating, smug little chap with a Labubu Metallica t-shirt on, he was later exposed for paying for sex, which I never understood why so many wealthy, men of status think that's like I believe the children would call it a dub. They believe it's a dub. It ain't, mate. It ain't. Broadcasting to the world, you need to pay for sex. You need to pay for women to pay you attention. That's a little bit tragic, isn't it? So I can't blame him paying for sex. I mean, look at this geezer. Really, gone are the days of Rothschild or Rockefeller. Right, we are way past that. This isn't even like Ted Turner, Howard Hughes level of elite. This is a new, weird, deeply unsettling, anti-charismatic, socially autistic new money. This reeks of new money. Because old billionaires, I'm going on one of those rants, dear viewer, bear with me. Old billionaires had a wife and kids. They had lots of kids. Because, the billionaires of old, they were big legacy fetishists. It's why so many of them named their next of kin the second, right? So on and so forth. Me, personally, I'm going to refer to my next of kin as the sequel. I think we should bring back the elder, right? The younger and the elder. Junior and senior is a very American thing. I think we really do need to bring back, as a civilization, the elder and the younger. I think that would be beautiful. But, the ultra wealthy of days of old, he says he's a crypto millionaire, which basically means he has imaginary money. That's what that means, by the way. A crypto millionaire is someone who has imaginary wealth, which I feel that could be anyone. You know what I mean? It's about mindset, right? Anyone can identify as a billionaire. It's about the fucking mindset and the vibe. Smoking hot girlfriend, which is actually a prostitute from OnlyFans. She's quite literally paid to be seen pictured with him, which is really sad. I mean, look at his little face and his gaudy fucking Metallica Labubu t-shirt. What is this man wearing? No, it gets truer every day. You cannot buy taste. Donald Trump is just a very high profile example of that. With his fucking Epstein Memorial Ballroom, spray painted in gold. Oh, Christ. Really, Team You billionaire. That's a term we need to really bring into the public zeitgeist. Team You billionaires. Because this guy, that is the slogan. Shop like a billionaire. No, literally, shop like a billionaire. Dress like this absolute plonker. I can't, really. I grieve. Truthfully, I grieve. The decline of the debonair, powerful, the death of the aristocrat, dear viewer. I mourn the loss of the aristocrat. Now, everyone is driving around in their Please Love Me Daddy Cybertruck. And, they've got a hoverboard and they're having to pay stupid money for women to pretend they like them. That's not Rockefeller. Oh, it's sickening, dear viewer. I, an absolute dosser without a pot to piss in, should not be able to take pity on the wealthy. And the right-wingers, rushing to the defence of their lovely, misunderstood billionaires. They say it's the politics of envy. It ain't. It's the politics of pity. Now, should we tax the ultra-wealthy into the fucking ground? Of course we should. That's neither here nor there. But it really is tragic. 43 years old, dressing like a 7-year-old, no kids, and you're having to pay stupid money for women to pretend they're not repulsed by you. Do you realise how fucking tragic that is? Name anyone having a better Christmas than me. I'll start. Someone with a loving family. Yeah, let's move on. In other truths, Kevin Spacey's song and dance comeback gets warm Tel Aviv welcome. I do not want to see a warm Tel Aviv welcome, right? So warm it could melt a baby's face off. Actor repeatedly refers to last 8 years of his life after he was accused by dozens of sexual misconduct. During show that looks back on his career, Spacey, probably the most famous boy buggerer alive today, said he was excited to be back in Israel, to the shock and awe of absolutely no one. Homeless Kevin Spacey has surfaced in Israel doing sad Frank Sinatra cosplay. One headline read, "I want to be a part of it. Tel Aviv, Tel Aviv." It kind of works, I suppose. Yeah, a little bit of trivia, actually, on that topic of sad Frank Sinatra cosplay, highlighted in yellow here. Frank Sinatra, the definitive article, was actually a devout Zionist. There's a lot of history there. I believe he was on a boat that hand-delivered weapons to Israel during a, dare I say, more justified spate of war crimes, right? I feel Israel in the past was more understandable to defend. These days, though, I don't think anyone in good faith and good conscience can defend the state of Israel, frankly. We let old Blue Eyes off because I'm not sure if you know this, dear viewer, he is chairman of the board. Was, I should say. In other truths, the creme de la Kremlin, Nijatov Farajikov, repeatedly shouts Bernard Manning at journalists amid racism allegations. Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. We'll have to keep an eye on it to see if it pays off.
He's very shy.
Oh, I'm non-controversial and shy compared to you.
In other truths, right, I suppose this is the headline. Have you ever seen a middle-class protest more insufferable than this? A bunch of, no doubt, university-educated Bristolians. Yeah, I'm willing to put money on it. They're from Bristol, this lot. They wasted a perfectly good apple crumble, with custard, mind you, with custard, to throw at a glass box. That's the headline, by the way. I wish I was fucking with you. They threw perfectly good food just in time for Christmas, while a lot of families are unfortunately going without, at a glass box, which inside the glass box, I should mention, were the crown jewels. They're having some very, again, toff tantrum, a toftrum, if you will, because, get this right, they feel the poor in this country are treated badly. Now, I fully agree with that. How you get the entire country to think you're a plonker while making a point a lot of people agree with, the polls show it as much. I get Vietnam flashbacks to the last time a bunch of middle-class toffs threw perfectly good food at I believe it was Van Gogh's Sunflowers. They threw soup at a Van Gogh piece, which I will never forgive them for, because, I mean, Warhol was right next door, mate. If you're going to throw soup at an art piece, Warhol, surely. But no, of course not, because they are, I mean, they're artless people. This is the thing. They are artless people, and they're staunch ideologues. And they don't realise holding up traffic, shitting themselves in a very public place, screaming, eco-terrorist die, is not the way you get people on board with your message. It repulses people. I'm going to let you in on a trade secret, dear viewer. Most people aren't religious ideologues. They're really not. They're common sense, decent, down the middle people, and they can be reasoned with. They can be brought to your side of thinking. That is the art of politics. It's changing people's minds. It's meeting people where they are and maybe, shifting a little bit. This shifts no one. All this does is highlight you are out of touch toffs. I mean, in time for Christmas, this is the thing that fucking annoys me. There are poor families up and down this country. They're not going to have a lovely apple crumble with custard at Christmas. And here you are throwing apple crumble with custard at a fucking glass box. Really? Absolutely, this should be a criminal offence. Good job, they're already in the Tower of London. Because when I'm Prime Minister, we will be turning the Tower of London back into a fucking prison for these kinds of troublemakers. I will be the great Prime Minister of fuck around and find out. Alright, if you want to have a middle class hissy fit and waste food that could go towards families in need, you absolutely belong in a fucking cage. Alright, fuck off back to Bristol. Oh, these people annoy me. They do. And they get in the way of traffic. They hold up traffic. Ambulances, people going to and from their office job they fucking hate. All you've done is make them antagonistic towards you and thus your cause. Really. No one is seeing this and thinking, you know what, that Zach Polanski, he's onto something. No one feels that way. The people that agree with these people still agree with them. No surprise there. The people that think these eco people are a little bit wacky, they are just convinced of that now. Well done. You wasted food. And what did you do? The crown jewels, untouched, because they're in I can only imagine, a bulletproof box. Well done. And you've once again showed your argument as infantile. I agree with the argument that we should have a wealth tax. Of course I fucking do. But all this is going to do is turn people off of your argument. Because people can be met. And they can be reasoned with. And they can be brought on board. I'm renowned of Mamdani's win in New York quite recently. He got Trump voters voting for him. There were red hats that were won round. You can reach people. This is not how you reach people. Shitting yourself in a public place screaming is not how you reach people. And it just reeks of the middle class. It really does. This is the protest of privilege, if I've ever fucking seen it. Because they're absolutely correct here. There are families struggling, and that is unfucking acceptable, right? Absolutely. Child poverty is unfucking acceptable. It's a moral stain. Are they going to mention the fact Starmer's Labour government just recently got 500,000 kids out of poverty? Of course not. Of course not. And I have my frustrations with Sakir. We'll get into that a little bit later. I feel he's edging me. You know what I mean? I feel he's edging me. He does some really good stuff and then stops. No. Keep going. I'm almost there, Sakir. And, breakfast clubs, free school meals for more children. Of course, I will always be in favour of universal free school meals. So I'm not some ardent right winger. I'm not some Farajatov stan. I am someone these people could reach with their argument. Absolutely, wealth inequality is a fucking scourge in our society. What does you wasting food, throwing it at a glass fucking box achieve? All you've done is made a headline and a bunch of people think you're Wallies. Well done. Well done. The British public think you're Wallies. Congrats. They had their suspicions. You have convinced them of those suspicions. And it really fucks me off. This shit really annoys me. I think wasting food so fragrantly. Am I using that word correctly? Fragrantly. I don't think I'm using that word correctly. In a way that has a pleasant smell. No, what's the word I'm thinking of? Fragrantly rhymes. I'm not thinking of blatantly. I'm not thinking of wastefully, although these words work as well. Flagrantly, I think. Hang on. Am I using that word correctly? Flagrantly. In a conspicuously or obviously offensive way. Yeah, I assume that's the word I was looking for. No, it really fucks me off, because you go into Sainsbury's and you see like little tags by certain food items. Oh, you can donate these to help families in need this Christmas. Wonderful. Great. And I see stuff like this, and it makes the custard coursing round my veins fucking boil. It really does. I prefer custard cold, just so you know. Just if we ever get in a situation where you're serving me custard. I don't know why, but let's say, hypothetically. I feel this kind of flagrant waste of food should always have a heavy fucking fine. Maybe it already does. I haven't read up on the books. Maybe this is a fine. It should be a fucking fine. And every penny of the fine paid, they can pay for it. Trust me, they can pay for it. Should go towards food banks. Again, I personally don't believe food banks should exist. I think that is a failure of government. The fact we need food banks. Best believe I could outleft any of these tossers. Nationalise food banks. There we fucking go. Every mouth fed. I'm exhausted. But no, it's like the Van Gogh thing. It's the, duct taping yourself to a fucking lamppost thing. It's the going on hunger strike outside of Google HQ. That just hurts themselves, really. I don't feel it wins anyone round to their argument, but it certainly doesn't repulse people. Politics is the art of standing up, saying what you mean in a relatable way that makes people feel heard, and it validates people. That's what politics is. It's the art of validation without stepping on too many toes. All this does is step on toes. I'm going to move on now. Because I'm a very vain person, and when I go on these rants, I get like a lightning bolt frow line right by my eyebrow. So we're gonna move on. Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, the Liz Truss show review: hapless ravings from a cupboard. The Guardian writes. Britain's briefest PM keeps her fans, why isn't fans in quote marks, even the horses don't recognise her these days, waiting before launching her latest plea for MAGA attention. Yeah, of all the ex-prime ministers, Truss is the least, I never thought I'd say this, she is the least qualified to have a podcast on the internet. No, she really is. She's got no personal charisma. She's got no sort of dynamism to the way she speaks. She's not a great orator. It's not like she has this rich legacy to reflect upon. She's just a grifter that got very lucky for about a month. She was a perfect example of last lady standing, right? Everyone else around her couldn't get arrested. They thought, what do we have to fucking lose? Let Liz have a go. You see it. You see it in your work life. There's that one guy who's worked there for 20 years, and just by virtue of him being just competent enough, he works his way up the ladder and he ends up being the boss. He ends up being the manager type. That's Liz Truss. She's not competent. And, she killed the Queen, for fuck's sake. She killed the Queen. I don't like this woman. I'll be completely dumb and white now, Divya. I don't like this woman. Of all the prime ministers that I'd like to see get a podcast, it would have to be Boris, right? Boris is at least interesting to look at from a distance. You know what I mean? He could have a podcast and he gets guests on. Waffling with Boris, it could be called, perhaps. And I took the 17 children to Peppa Pig World. I'm using Peppa Pig World. It's not as good as Legoland, but it's Peppa Pig World. The amount of hoodlum youths I saw just loitering. They were just loitering by Daddy Pig. You know Daddy Pig. And I feel this is Labour's fault, They're loitering. The teenagers, the Asbos. Do you remember Asbos? They were They were loitering around Daddy Pig. They were doing unspeakable things to the statue of Daddy Pig. I'm exhausted. No, I really am exhausted. And I thought for a second, I fuck you not, dear viewer. I'm not fingering you here. I thought the posterette, I don't know what that is. Is that, I don't know. It's like a print off of something behind her. I thought that was Adolf Hitler. And you zoom in, and of course, it's actually the New Labour, New Danger propaganda piece from the Tories. And, I mean, two things. I do feel it's, noteworthy that I mistook Tony Blair, the Prince of Darkness, for Adolf Hitler. Now, we can sound off in the comments below who was worse, but I do think it speaks to something in myself, at least, that I genuinely, no shred of irony, mistook Tony Blair for the Fuhrer. But more than that, though, you couldn't update it for modern sensibilities. No, have a poster of Keir Starmer with a gabble, and he's got glowing red eyes. It's like Dark Brandon. Same Starmer, same harm done. You know what I mean? Like, surely, you should honestly, Mary sweetheart, Gmail me, strictlyformygeezers @gmail.com. I will write you the zingers. Easy. Oh, it's as easy as taking a piss in a park bin. I will write you those zingers. Same Starmer, same harm done. And he's all evil and ominous. He's going to feed our children. Oh God, he's giving more kids free school meals. No. That's what those people sound like to me, by the way. Oh, no, I love child poverty. You can't do that. He's evil. I'm the last person to rush to the defence of Sir Keir of Starmer, but you make me defend the man with your, borderline mentally ill takes on the guy, right? They're acting like, I don't know what they're acting like. They're acting like he is worse than, the woman on screen, and I promise you, he ain't. His greatest crime would probably be the fact he's painfully mediocre. I've said it before, he's edging us. Do more stuff, Sir Keir. Be more of a fucking socialist. Be filthy about it. Be a filthy fucking socialist, yeah? Because he could be like this generation's Attlee, and he refuses because he doesn't want to rock the boat. In other truths, what the fuck is that? Oh my god! Oh my god, it shits Polaroid. And finally closing, how long have I done? Can I fuck off yet? 23 minutes, that's not so bad. Yeah, this is just a personal note. I feel I'd end today's processions with, this is what people want. It hurts to admit it, but I can't lie to you, dear viewer. I'm the last honest man on this wretched fucking website. This is what you fuck muppets want. You want the same AI amalgam just spoon-fed up into your hungry baby bird gullet. That's what you want. That's what you long for. You yearn to have a video you watched 12 years ago reanimated over and over and over and over and over again. And, people don't want realness. They don't want a real bloke with real views. Maybe I'm a little bit controversial sometimes. Was the Titanic real? I don't know. I'm not convinced. But at least I'm like an actual bloke that you could see in the real world and shake hands with and think, fuck me, your hands are cold, right? And why are they so feminine? Why are your hands so dainty and feminine? What is wrong with you? At least you could at least I'm real, right? At least I'm fucking genuine. Even when I'm being disingenuine. This is just crap. This is just AI shite. The video is AI. The text is AI. The narration is AI. The script is AI. And this is clearly what people want. We have to stop coping. No, real people yearn for real genuine stuff. They don't. They really, really don't. They want the same video reanimated and reamalgamated and just fed into their little baby bird mouths. This is what's in vogue currently. George Harrison was not. Great, brilliant. I don't believe that's an actual image of Sir Paul. I could be wrong. I don't believe he looks quite like that. Paul McCartney finally breaks silence about George Harrison. I mean, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of views on videos a literal machine has made. And you see the same video with a different narrator. I've seen this firsthand. You see the same video with just a different voiceover, and none of it's real. It's all synthetic, and each one gets at least 500,000 apiece. Yet I do a great video on Sam Pepper, you know, sort of firecrackering a little girl in the face. 17 views. Not even 17 views. I used to say 17 views to take the piss back when I was on the first channel, flying high, routinely getting at least 1,000 views. All right, we can work with that. Now I say 17 views, it's an overestimate. Forget about hyperbole, it's just regular burbly. And, I mean, it's everywhere. Maybe I'll do a follow-up to the AI video I did that no one saw. It's on my fucking Spotify feed, dear viewer. They've infested my Spotify feed with AI facsimiles of doo-wop. This is not real. None of this is real. This is all shite. And you love it. You want it. This is what you want. Do I start a third channel and it is just AI? You won't believe. Oh, you won't believe what Keir Starmer has said this time. And this is the thing that fucks me off. Why are they using AI generated images of people that exist? You've seen that. Surely you've seen that. It will have like it doesn't have to be politics. It can be anything. You'll see a video covering like Breaking Truves or whatever. Dishonest as fuck. I'm the only honest man on this wretched fucking website. And it will feature a piss-tinted, ChatGPT-ified depiction of them. Like it's the Prophet Muhammad. We have Google Images. You can find an actual image of the guy. Like you'll see a video about Paul McCartney. Not these ones, although I feel these are AI altered at the very least. And it will have a guy that kind of looks like Paul McCartney, but isn't. And people love it. People eat it up. They love facsimiles of something that once fucking meant something. And I'll leave it on that, frankly. This will get 4 views. People don't want a real opinion from a real fucking bloke. They want an AI facsimile of a real fucking bloke to the power of 10, right? Just photocopies of photocopies of photocopies. I love you. God bless yourself. I'm sorry you had to hear it from me.